All right, buckle up, everybody. We're going deep on this one.
Deep.
Yeah, we're taking a deep dive into the poetry of Sunny Jetsun.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you guys sent in a mountain of his work, and
Seems like our listeners are really fascinated by him.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Seems like a real trip, this guy. So
He's definitely a unique voice.
you can say that again, Jetsun. Just a little background for anyone tuning in for the first time. He's been writing and creating art for decades, right?
Yeah, he emerged from the 60s counterculture scene.
Right, the whole hippie trail thing.
Exactly. Spent years traveling through Asia, soaking up all those Eastern spiritual traditions.
Now he's based in Goa, still going strong.
Still pushing boundaries.
And you guys specifically wanted to hear about the surreal elements in his work, the controversial bits.
Oh, yeah, those definitely stand out.
You wanted to know about a poem that really resonated with us.
There are so many to choose from.
I know, right? So let's just jump right in, starting with the surrealism, because even glancing at the titles of these poems, it's like falling down a rabbit hole, you know?
I mean, you've got titles like Kleptocracy is a government with corrupt leaders. Wikipedia! What?
Exactly. What does that even mean?
Like, what's the connection?
And then you've got lines like, ashes to plastic, fuck to death, you know?
Whoa, yeah, it's jarring. It's provocative. Honestly, kind of funny, too, right?
There's definitely a dark humor there.
Like social commentary, but wrapped up in,
Psychedelic candy coating, yeah.
that's a good way to put it.
And that's where the surrealism comes in. It lets him tackle these heavy topics, you know, politics, societal ills, all that, but from a totally different angle.
A funhouse mirror to the world.
Exactly, distorting our perceptions and forcing us to see things in this new light. Do you ever feel like the world is this close to slipping into the absurd?
All the time.
Jetsun's right there with you, man.
So speaking of things getting a little out there, we got to talk about the,
The elephant in the room.
well, maybe more like the Shakti boa in the room. Jetson is not shy about sex. That's one way to put it. Things definitely get interesting there.
And controversial.
Absolutely. He's so frank. Explicit language, stuff some people might find offensive. But there's also this, like, reverence for the feminine, you know?
Oh, yeah, totally.
A celebration of female sexuality, like, as this powerful, sacred force.
You see that a lot in his work. Poems like Viva las vulvas, Shakti's explosions. I mean, come on.
He's drawn to women, no doubt, writes about them with a raw passion, no holding back.
And it ties into his interest in Tantric philosophy, right? The whole idea of sexual energy as a pathway to spiritual enlightenment.
Right, it's not just about the physical act for him. There's something deeper going on.
Deeper, more spiritual, yeah. Which, let's be honest, can be a lot for some readers.
It's intense, but it's important to remember he's coming from a place of respect, you know?
Respect, reverence, not exploitation.
Right, and that's what makes his work so, I don't know, fascinating and challenging.
It's like he's saying, hey, this is part of life. Let's not be afraid to talk about it.
Even if it makes us squirm a little.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Breaking down those taboos, challenging social norms.
He's a rebel through and through.
Speaking of rebels, Jetsun's anti-establishment rants.
Oh yeah, he's got some serious beef with the powers that be. Makes sense though, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, coming of age during the 60s, counterculture.
Time of upheaval, man.
Yeah.
Social, political, everything was changing.
So it's not surprising he's skeptical of authority,
He's deeply skeptical and critical of any kind of power structure.
doesn't hold back at all, takes aim at everything. Political corruption, corporate greed,
War, environmental destruction, you name it.
especially scathing in his critique of, what does he call them?
New Age conquistadors.
Yeah, those guys. Exploiting spirituality for personal gain.
Maintaining systems of oppression, the whole nine yards.
Definitely a lot of anger there.
Disillusionment with how the world works, for sure. But there's also this, like, yearning, you know?
Yearning.
Yeah, like he wants something better.
A more just world.
Exactly. More equitable. It's like he's shouting from the rooftops, trying to wake everyone up.
Wake us up to the injustices all around us. And he does it in a way that's like both thought-provoking and entertaining.
Not easy to pull off.
Not at all. He's profound and profane, often in the same breath.
That's Jetson for you.
So we've talked about surrealism, sexuality, the anti-establishment stuff, all these different layers.
He's a complex guy.
What I'm really curious about is what speaks to you personally? Like, which poem really hit you hard and why?
Oh, man, that's a tough one.
So many to choose from, right?
I'm really drawn to Exposure to deeper penetration of the magic Pudenda.
Whoa, okay, bold choice.
Very Jetson right.
Definitely. But tell me more, like, beyond the title, what is it about that poem?
I think to really get it, we got to understand the context.
Okay, lay it on me. What's the backstory?
So Jetson wrote this during his time in India. He was really deep into exploring Eastern spiritual traditions, especially Tantra.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And Tantra views sexual energy as this powerful force for, like, awakening.
Physical and spiritual, yeah. It's key.
And he definitely doesn't shy away from that in his writing.
Not at all. Exposure to deeper penetration of the magic Pudenda is a perfect example.
It's a mouthful.
It is. He uses really graphic language, but it's not, like, just for shock value.
Right, right.
He's using those words to shatter taboos, to reclaim the power of female sexuality, and to make it sacred, you know?
So it's like, let's stop being afraid of these words, of these experiences.
Yeah, embrace it all.
See the divine in it.
Exactly. And the poem, it goes beyond just celebrating female sexuality. It explores this interconnectedness, how our physical experiences can open us up spiritually.
So it's not just about sex. It's about,
Transcendence.
yeah, transcendence, connecting with something bigger than ourselves.
Totally. And he uses such vivid imagery to get that across. Listen to these lines. The universe unfolded within her, a symphony of stars and stardust, galaxies swirling in her depths.
Whoa. Okay, yeah, he's taking something physical and turning it into this cosmic spiritual experience.
Right. This incredible dance between the sensual and the sacred. Erotic, yeah, but also reverent, almost mystical in how it depicts the feminine divine.
So how does this poem fit into Jetson's larger body of work? We've talked about all these different sides of him, the surrealism, his views on society, his fascination with women. Where does this one fit in?
It's like it brings all those threads together. You've got the surreal imagery, but it's channeled into exploring Tantra and feminine power. It challenges us to see beyond the surface, to confront our own ideas about sex and spirituality.
And to embrace the beauty and power of, well, the female form.
Exactly. And honestly, it's a poem that stays with you. It's hard to forget.
Those lines about the universe unfolding, yeah, that's powerful stuff.
It lingers in your mind long after you've finished reading it.
Which I think is the sign of a really great poem.
Absolutely.
So we've dug into your pick, Exposure to Deeper Penetration of the Magic Pudenda. Now I'm excited to hear about the one that got to me.
Okay, let's hear it. Which one spoke to you?
I was really drawn to Spirit Party.
Oh, interesting choice. That one's a bit more subdued, I guess, than Exposure to Deeper Penetration of the Magic Pudenda, but powerful in its own way.
Yeah, for sure. It's not as explicitly sexual, but it still has that theme of transcendence, you know?
Yeah.
Finding meaning in this world that can feel pretty messed up sometimes.
The imagery in that one is amazing. He paints this picture of a surreal gathering, like somewhere between worlds.
Yeah, there's that line, light field landscapes of the mind. It just gives you this sense of vastness, of possibilities.
Like stepping outside of reality into something bigger.
Exactly. And then there's that image of the spirit returning again and again.
Like a beacon of hope.
Yeah, like even when we're lost, there's this strength inside us that can guide us back.
Back to wholeness.
And that party itself, this gathering of spirits, it feels like a metaphor for finding your people.
Your tribe.
Yeah, the ones who get you, you know, especially in a world that can feel so isolating.
Absolutely. Finding connection.
But the poem doesn't shy away from the darkness either. It acknowledges the pain, the heartbreak we all go through.
Oh, for sure. There's that line, simple happy lovers, I have no malice to you. You beat my spirit to death, very nearly. But relatable, right? We've all had those moments where love hurts, where our spirits feel crushed.
Yeah, we have.
But even in that darkness, there's this glimmer of hope.
The spirit comes back, and it's stronger.
More resilient.
Yeah, and that's what makes this poem resonate, I think. It speaks to that human need for connection, for meaning, for something more than just the day-to-day.
It's a reminder that even in chaos, we can find beauty, grace, connection.
And those moments make it all worthwhile.
They really do.
So we've explored two very different poems, Exposure to Deeper Penetration of the Magic Pudenda and Spirit Party, both about transcendence, about searching for something beyond the physical.
And they do it in such different ways. One is this bold celebration of female sexuality, the other this ethereal, almost mystical gathering.
And that's what's so fascinating about Jetsun. He's not afraid to break the rules, push boundaries, make us uncomfortable.
He's a true original, a voice that needs to be heard, even if it makes us squirm a little.
And that's what we love about him, right? He keeps us thinking, keeps us feeling, reminds us there's more to life than meets the eye.
Like a psychedelic tour guide for the soul.
So for those of you listening, what are your thoughts on Sunny Jetsun? What resonates with you? What challenges you?
Hit us up online, share your thoughts. Let's keep this conversation going.
Because in a world that often feels too predictable, too sanitized, too afraid to really feel things, we need voices like Jetsun's.
We need artists who shake things up, challenge the status quo, remind us how complex and messy and beautiful life really is.
And on that note, we're wrapping up part 2 of our deep dive into the world of Sunny Jetsun.
But don't go anywhere. In part 3, we'll be tackling some of the criticisms of Jetsun's work. Does he go too far?
And we'll leave you with some thought-provoking questions to ponder on your own.
Stay tuned, folks. The deep dive continues. All right, picking up where we left off. We've covered a lot of ground with Sunny Jetsun, the good, the weird, the mind-blowing, but we can't ignore the fact that he's a controversial figure.
Yeah, he's not for everyone. Some find his work offensive, misogynistic even. Others say he's all style, no substance.
Exactly. Worth exploring those criticisms, don't you think?
Absolutely. Let's start with the misogyny accusations. His language, especially around sex, can be pretty out there.
Graphic, yeah.
And some argue it crosses the line into objectification.
Which is a valid concern. I mean, we've said he elevates the feminine, sees female sexuality as sacred. But does that justify everything?
That's the big question, right? Where's the line?
Tough one. Each reader has to decide that for themselves, I think. But looking at his intent is key. Is he trying to degrade women, or is it more about reclaiming those words, taking away their power to shock?
Like those words have been used to control and shame women for so long.
Exactly. He's flipping the script, using them to celebrate female power and pleasure instead.
Whether you agree with his method or not, he's definitely starting a conversation.
Oh yeah, big time.
We're forced to confront how we feel about female sexuality and the language we use around it.
And that's what art should do, right? Challenge us.
Make us think.
Provoke us.
Now, the other criticism, that he's all style, no substance.
Some say the surrealism is just a gimmick.
Hiding a lack of depth. Yeah.
Like he's just throwing words around to sound cool.
But I think that's missing the point.
It's a superficial reading, for sure.
His style is unconventional, but there's a purpose to it. He's using surrealism to break down barriers between the conscious and subconscious mind.
Between logic and intuition.
Yeah, it's like he's creating a whole new language, a language of the soul.
Reaching for something beyond what our rational minds can grasp.
And within that seeming chaos, there are profound insights about humanity, about our place in the world.
About our search for meaning, for connection. It's not just shock for shock's sake.
Right, there's depth there, but you have to be willing to engage with it.
On its own terms, yeah.
That's what sets him apart from the posers, I guess you could say.
The ones who are just looking for attention.
He's trying to wake us up, shake us out of complacency.
Show us a new way of seeing the world.
And he does it with humor, too, which helps.
Takes the edge off, lets us relax a little so we can really take those ideas in.
Even the ones that challenge our beliefs,
They've
right?
been the ones that make us squirm.
So we've covered a lot. The surrealism, the sexuality, the social commentary, the critiques. What's the takeaway for our listeners who are now like, okay, I'm intrigued. Where do I even start with this Jetsun guy?
Open mind is key. Be willing to be challenged.
Yeah, don't be afraid to be offended, even.
Confused, provoked, it's all part of the ride.
Let yourself be surprised. Be unsettled. Don't try to put him in a box.
Let him mess with your head a bit.
Most importantly, trust your gut. If a poem speaks to you, great. If not, no worries.
There's no right or wrong way to experience his work.
It's about the journey, the exploration.
Who knows what you might discover about yourself along the way, right?
So that wraps up our deep dive into the world of Sunny Jetsun. Mind-bending, soul-stirring, and a whole lot of fun, too.
He's a unique voice, that's for sure.
We hope this gave you a taste of his style, his themes, his power to challenge and inspire.
Keep exploring, keep questioning, keep the spirit of Sunny Jetsun alive.
And until next time, keep diving deep.